Arm yourselves, America. This is Defenders Live on Mojo 50 Radio. You can find us anywhere you can find podcasts that you love to listen to. But if you'd like to hear us live right now, you can hear us in one of two ways. You can go to Mojo 50 Radio Player on the iHeartRadio app, or you can go over to Facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio. You can interact with us any way that you see fit on all the social medias. If it's Facebook, go to that Mojo 50 Radio page. Look for the video. Comment there in the sections. You can go to MeWe over on Mojo 50 or on the DOE show page. And you can also comment and talk to us and tweet at us and everything else over on the Twitters at Steven Airey, at DOE show. And as always, hashtag what I learned today. Yes, we have taken it. No, it is not just for us. It is for everybody on the entire Mojo 50 network. So hashtag what I learned today at Steven Airey, at DOA show. Talk to me. Tell me what you got going on. I'd love to hear what you have to say, especially while we go through the content today. First and foremost, the show is brought to you in part by Airey Capital Management. You know, retirement planning is not something to overlook. You need to act now. Contact Airey Capital Management today. They can help you put an investment plan into place using their in-house portfolio management processes. See, it's your life, your era. Invest in it. Airey Capital Management, LLC is a registered investment advisor. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss. Visit aireycapitalmanagement.com or call them at 509-559-6229. That's 509-559-6229. aireycapitalmanagement.com. Call Jacob. Tell him that Mojo sent you. Oh, it's already been a really long day for me anyway. 2-hour show. And earlier today, taking over for the guest host position on Matt's show and the Conservative Cartel. Man, that was fun. Yes, Rocky, I did get a haircut. Actually, I had the haircut earlier today. I'm so glad that you noticed this morning. Just saying. Thank goodness I'm flying solo. Yeah, come on. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. All right, so we had a long 2 hours. It was great. It was fun. By long, I mean it was really short. It took almost no time. It felt like it was 20 minutes. That's what it felt like. And it was amazing. Great stuff. We did let loose on a couple secrets, possibly. So if you missed it, go back and check it out. That's the Conservative Cartel's show from today. It's dated, so go check it out there. That is what it is. So, but on to what we're talking about today. So, we heard earlier today, and I'm sure you've heard all the crap about Juicy Mullets and everything else. You know, he was arrested for all the stupidity that he's done. He's probably going to get charged and all that other mess, but it is what it is. So one of the things, gosh, over on the Mojo 50 Whiskey, do you want to call me Whiskey? Do you want to call me? Answer me that first. If you want to call me, answer me that. Just saying. Yes, Juicy Mullets, and everything that's gone on with that. If you haven't heard, he has been arrested. He is probably going to, he's out on bail already because they set it for $100,000. And all you got to do is pay 10% of that. So he popped the bail for $10,000 and got out of there as quickly as he possibly could. Along with that, a couple other things have happened. If you looked at MSNBC, which nobody looks at MSNBC. But if you did, there was a guest on there who was floating a theory about why Juicy Mullets had his issues and was problematic in those areas. And I think you should hear it. See, MSNBC finally got around to covering the scandal surrounding the Empire star Juicy Mullets and allowed a guest to float a theory that cops are lying about the case. That Trump-supporting cops are lying about the case. See, MSNBC completely skipped the Juicy Mullet news during the primetime area and everything else that's been going on, Daily Caller, blah, 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 blah. But this one guy, Zach Stafford, the editor-in-chief for a quilt bag magazine, The Advocate, joined MSNBC Casey Hunt and Al Sharpton on Thursday to discuss Jussie Smollett, and who's now facing up to 3 years in prison, even though he's posted bail. Obviously, he still has the court date and everything else. It is what it is. So, quote, "It was incredibly shocking on day one to see that the police department call it a racist and homophobic attack," Stafford said. Quote, "As someone that has been investigating these for years in Chicago, that was really unprecedented. People in the background were worried that they were leaning into the victim part of the story because they didn't believe him, and they wanted to use it against him at the end. And when they were able to prove that he was lying," he says, quote, "the police were openly confirming and not confirming certain reports and not doing it in other parts of the story due to the vocal nature in the case. In this case, it was really peculiar," Stafford says. Quote, "People have a lot of reasons to not trust them. A deep history of openly lying to citizens, the police department did in 2016 openly through their union support Donald Trump." Wait, these things don't go together. Voting for Trump and being a liar does not go together. So how does that even happen? What is wrong with you? He then went on to say certain things like this, quote, "Many people have felt that they have been so willing to call this a hoax. The reason why they've been so willing to call this a hoax is because the central question of this case is, are Donald Trump supporters out committing hate crimes? And that's what's really sparked a lot of the tension," he said. Quote, "To have the police department that hasn't been as cooperative as they have been this round, do not openly give information, do openly lie and mishold information in case..." Wait, stop. Time out. The police department is doing exactly what they normally do. They are investigating the claims of a man who says that he was assaulted by with a hate crime. They're doing the exact same thing that they would do to every other case. It just so happens that this one proved to be wrong. Just because you're a quilt bag and he's a quilt bag doesn't mean your two quilt bags go together. He actually pre-planned the attack. He actually went and prepared for it. Like a stage performance, he went and practiced the fight itself. It was fully staged, just out there in the field. For you to sit here and say that the police are to blame because the certain ones supported Trump means that you are blind to your own hatred. Full stop. You're blind to your own hatred. How can you, as a person who is trying to push out the idea of everybody should love each other, you shouldn't judge me, you shouldn't judge another person, you are going to judge a person not on their sexual orientation, which is generally understood by the religious among us as a big issue of purity. You're going to judge a person by who they voted for? One issue? One guy? And you're going to use that to blame an entire police department? No, I'm with you. That there are a lot of things going out there. And I'm with you that there is corruption, and there has been corruption in the areas of police and other things like that. What are you guys doing over in the Off the Tracks room? That is completely distracting. What the hell are you doing? Everybody has their own sayings and crutches, all right? It is what it is. That's I'm going to keep on saying that now. I'm going to say that now just to mess with you. That's how this is going to be. You know that, right? So I'm with you. There has been corruption in the police department, especially in the ones around Chicago. And they're saying that they supported Trump through the union. I don't see that. No union would support a Republican president. No union would support a Republican president. Maybe he did, but I don't think so. This is not an issue of a quilt bag man being beaten to death or almost beaten to death or even a hate crime happening. This is a man who tried to fake a hate crime. And you guys are going to this extent to try and push the narrative that he's okay, he's right, it's all good. Don't believe you. Don't believe you. It's not true. It is a complete untruth. And you should be ashamed of yourself for putting yourself in such a box that you can't see past your own shadow. Speaking of people who can't see past their own box, when's the last time you checked out the bills for your cell phone company? When's the last time? I don't know. Because I got to tell you, if you check it, and if you look at what they're talking about and what they're doing, your cell phone companies, they are funding some of the biggest liberal gun-grabbing idiots around. Patriot Mobile is the exact opposite. Patriot Mobile is America's only conservative cell phone company, and it's doing everything it can to stop what you don't want to happen. If you're fed up with disgusting policies like the New York abortion law and Bloomberg's gun control plans and the stalemate and border policies, make a simple switch to Patriot Mobile. Join the thousands of Americans using Patriot Mobile and get reliable nationwide coverage and watch your hard-earned dollars fight for the First and Second Amendment, border security, and the sanctity of life. Veteran-led Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every bill to conservative causes like the Heritage Foundation, the NRA, the Susan B. Anthony List, and so much more. Switching is so easy with their unlimited plans for talk and text starting as low as $20 a month. If you need more motivation, mention Doc when you call 1-800-8-PATRIOT or visit them online at patriotmobile.com/mojo to get 2 activation fees waived on the spot. Patriot Mobile, enough is enough. Join the fight today. 1-800-8-PATRIOT. Use the promo code DOC or patriotmobile.com/mojo. Backyard cows, you don't have a box? That's a good man. That's a good man right there. All right, so over to the CDC. By the way, so do you guys remember the CDC and the whole false missile alarm alert that went across the entire islands of Hawaii? Anybody remember that? That was a horrible, scary day for many, many people. Well, the CDC has decided it was going to spend a ton of money. The CDC is going to, has spent, I'm not going to, it is going to, it has spent a ton of money analyzing Twitter to figure out if, people were just scared of the false missile alarm or if it pissed them off. Because they went through this entire process. Look at this. I mention Chicago police departments, and Dominique Izzo pops up on the Facebook feed. What is that? What is this, Dom? What are you doing, man? What, do you want to call to? Do you want to call to? Huh? Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so the CDC is spending tons of money going through the entire process, and it just happens to be that they're trying to find out whether or not they're trying to confirm if the people were terrified because of the ballistic missile alarms in Hawaii, or if the false alarms made them upset. Apparently, it made people upset. You see, it's something that people watching social media would have already guessed. But this analysis could help emergency management agencies send better alerts in the future, or not press the wrong button. Maybe just don't press the wrong button. Step 1, don't send false alarms about nuclear missiles. That's step 1. The communications disaster unfolded last January when a series of major mistakes sent a terrifying alarm on the phone and televisions of Hawaii residents. It said a ballistic missile was on the way to the island and people needed to seek shelter. It took a full 38 minutes for the alarms to be retracted, during which time people thought they were literally going to die. One of the key themes that emerged in the aftermath was that some people didn't know what to do during a ballistic missile's attack. According to the new CDC paper, the Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, wow, they really need to get a new name for that. The finding tells public health officials that social media is a good place to reach out during a crisis, and future emergency alerts need to have clear instructions on what people should do. In a radiation emergency like nuclear missiles, these instructions are to get inside, and stay tuned. It won't help you if you don't have a complete seal around your house. Won't really help you. Not gonna do it. Of course, that doesn't help prevent false alarms, but that's another story. In today's study, the researchers searches for tweets, or as they helpfully explain, Twitter postings. From the morning of the false alarms to the team specifically looked at tweets containing the words missiles and Hawaii ballistics shelter drill threat alert alarm. They ended up with more than 127,000 tweets. Of those, most were retweets and quoted tweets, which they excluded to keep the information manageable. Yes, they should just have a big old cash register cashier's button set up with pictures. This one's for nuclear. Don't press it. This one's for missiles. Don't press it. This one's for don't press it. Don't press it with a big old do not press. Do not press these buttons in big red letters. Don't press the buttons. It's just, you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, the CDC is spending your money researching whether or not it's a good idea to do stuff on social media, and how mad people were after they did a failed accidental pressing buttons. They're studying whether or not you were upset that they accidentally screwed up and sent everybody a panic message. What's up, Jeremy Hansen? Good to see you there. On to bigger and better things. All troop Girl Scouts, all girl all girl troops join the Boy Scouts of America. For scouting groups where there's no boys allowed. I'm going to let that sink in. See, the BSA's history of backwards politics makes the recent changes feel like a cheap ploy to boost memberships and win progressive brownie points. The first all-girl troop have joined the Boy Scouts of America. Multiple news outlets reported this week. In Central Arkansas, the all-girl troop 19 presented its charter Tuesday, reported the local ABC affiliate KATV. Meanwhile, in Central Alabama, Troop 211 in Helena and Troop 86 in Vulcan were established, according to CBS 42. Officials told KATV that the program remains single gender, meaning that an all-girls troop will exclude boys. But how can you exclude boys when it's the Boy Scouts? In October of 2017, the organization now called SCOUTS BSA announced it would be accepting applications by girl troops for the first time in 100 years of their history. The decision was controversial, blah, blah, blah. We already know about all that, yada, yada, yada. Many progressives, such as the National Organizations for Women, cheered the news from the new Boy Scouts policy. Quote, now welcomes, that's the National Organization of Women, now welcomes the news that the Boy Scouts of America have once again admitted their long history of discrimination. What about the Girl Scouts of America and their discrimination? Just saying. This time against girls, and it's taking steps to correct it, the group said in a statement from 2017. You see, I bring this up because the Boy Scouts of America was for boys. They weren't brownies. They didn't do bake sales. They didn't sell cookies. They went out and they taught you how to survive. They taught you how to be a better man. Boy Scouts was supposed to be the supreme of teaching you how to be a proper civilian, a proper civil servant, a proper adult in a civil society. As a man. Because they had Girl Scouts. You know, teaching you the basics of survival, teaching you the basics of civics, teaching you how to treat people, to make it so you could stand on your own. As a man, secure in yourself and the things that you know. And slowly it just became a hunt for badges, selling popcorn, and now it's, throwing girls in the mix where they can, have their own little group on the side where they're not doing anything that you're doing because girls and boys aren't the same. Even though they don't want to believe that girls and boys aren't the same, which is why they're doing this thing. If you don't get out of the confusion of your own minds, and if you don't set yourself up to succeed, you will fail at everything you do. And this is a failing option. This is a failure of an option overall. There's nothing about this that screams winning success. There's already a Girl Scouts. There's already a female scout set. You don't need to create a secondary Scouts of BSA Girls Edition. What is it? Just, it's more extreme. Scouts BSA Girls Edition. It's not going to happen. It's not what it is. It's not what it's ever going to become. So how do you make sense of that? How does somebody make sense of, we're going to allow girls in the Boy Scouts? Okay, great. Fine. Sure. Whatever. You know what? I haven't supported them for many, many years anyway because they're a completely progressive organization. And they don't teach anything of value or worth anymore for the young children. But that's okay. So I haven't supported them. But along with that, you then say, well, we're not just going to do girls in the Boy Scouts, but the girls are going to have their own separate troop in the Boy Scouts because we don't want the boys doing things to the girls and vice versa. Maybe that means they shouldn't have the same scouts. Just saying. We'll be right back. Woo! Commercial break. Gotta love it. Yeah. Mm. Num, 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 num. Commercial breaks. Gotta love it. Oh, over here on the Facebook pages, what are you guys talking about? Girl Scout. So, are the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts going to sell Girl Scout cookies? Probably, James. That's a high probability. I can't deny or exclude. So, probable, yes. Can a girl be prom king and a boy be prom queen now? Yes, that is most definitely Lee Newton. That is a most definite. Can definitely happen. He can also be the dancing queen. 17. Jeremy Hansen, when I was 10, all the hot girls were in Girl Scouts. Yes, and now they're all the progressive nut bars. James Phipps. Oh, I know. They let the girls in to make the sandwiches for the boys. Good thinking. I see where you're going there. Good job. Way too many jokes. My dad. Yeah, I know. See. I didn't know there are no kings and queens, and they're all just royals now. Wow. Very nice. Good times. Rocky. Did he get caught with a hand in the cookie jar? It's more like the cookie box, Dad. Cookie box. And we're back. This is Defenders Live with Steven Airey or Mojo 5-0. Let me see. Check in here on the MeWe's at Steven Airey. What about the YMCA? Women sued for access, made them take everyone. Now they have curves for men. Curves where men are not allowed. Sorry, curves where men are not allowed. Yeah, they're called curves for a reason. Because men aren't supposed to be in there. Makes sense. You know, it is what it is. Said that exactly for you. You know who you are. Oh, that's going to be a constant thing now. I'm just going to annoy the crap out of you for that. Tar River Arms. America's first virtual gun store, making it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearms online. They're modernizing online firearm sales to accommodate your online generations. If you prefer brick and mortar, I'm sorry. But you can get a full 3D interactive experience over at traguns.com, where you can view and inspect every gun before you purchase. Weekly sales and specials are all around there all the time. They eliminate your shipping and brokerage fees. They have great guns, great prices, and great service. Veteran-owned and veteran-run. traguns.com. Tell them Steven over at Mojo sent you. It is a great place, and very, very soon I'll be purchasing some firearms from them right after this whole tax season gets taken care of. So, Venezuela. You guys haven't heard from Venezuela in a while. Venezuela has closed they're going to close their borders with Brazil amid Maduro's refusal of humanitarian aid. That's right. Humanitarian aid is going away, and they're getting pissed. So Venezuela's controversial president, Nicolas Maduro, announced on Thursday that he plans to close the border to Brazil totally and completely until further notice. The shocking announcement comes comes days before a shipment of foreign humanitarian aid is going to be delivered, or was supposed to be delivered to Venezuela, where the situation grows dire and more dire every single day. Maduro maintained at a meeting in Caracas that the aid from foreign countries is not only unnecessary but completely unwelcome, and an attempt by the United States to undermine the government's power. Quote, "We're not beggars," he said. What the U.S. empire is doing with its puppets and its international provocations, they want to generate a great national commotion. they didn't achieve it. No, they didn't. But you did, sir. You created a horrible national commotion in Venezuela. You know, where people are starving, where they have to get in line for toilet paper, where they literally have nothing. And you are still one of the most oil-rich countries in the world. Maduro added that he also is contemplating shutting the country's borders with Colombia to ensure that no foreign aid enters Venezuela at all. At his request, air and sea travel between Venezuela and the Dutch Caribbean islands of Caraco, was halted, and aid was being collected there. Venezuela has descended into chaos in recent months, and Maduro faces opposition from his opposition leader, Juan Guaido, who had declared himself president of the country and argued that Maduro's re-election in May 2018 was invalid and marred by vote rigging. You don't say. It probably was, but you can't just claim yourself president, buddy. So Maduro is deciding that he's going to say no more humanitarian aid, no more anything else. We're just going to close off this entire place, and I'm just going to let it sit here and rot because I still have food and I still have water, and screw all you people. That's about what it sounds like. It's just sounds about right. North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Sorry, old song reference. The North Carolina board declares that a new election in the contestants' House race after the GOP candidate admitted misspeaking under oath. In other words, he lied under oath. North Carolina election official on Thursday ordered a new contest in the 9th Congressional District, ending a dramatic 9-month-long investigation into the allegations of widespread ballot tampering and potentially refocusing the national debate about election fraud. You see, the board voted unanimously to throw the November results between the Republican Mark Harris and the Democrat Dan McCready after Harris, an evangelical minister from Charlotte, stopped giving Christians a bad name, admitted under oath that he misspoke in testimony earlier in that day. Harris blamed the error on a recent sepsis infection that he said caused 2 strokes and affected his memory. He's going for the 2-stroke rule, guys. He's going for a 2-stroke ruling. Anybody? Could also be a golf reference. I don't know. The board voted unanimously to throw it out. Yep. It appears to me, this is a quote, the irregularities and improprieties occurred to such an extent that they tainted the results of the entire election and cast doubts on its fairness, said the board chairman Bob Cordell. I believe the people of North Carolina deserve a fair election and deserve to have their votes counted properly. Yes, they do. And every election deserves to have their votes counted fairly and properly and all of this crap. And to say, so here's the thing. I talked about this the other day. This guy hired a firm. That firm cheated the election. They cheated the election. They went and got all of these absentee ballots and all of these other crap ballots out of the way and used them to vote for the candidate that hired them. That's what they did. It doesn't make sense for you to sit back, call yourself an evangelical pastor that was running for election, hire a company so terrible that your own son says don't do it, and you do it anyway just to win. You should be ashamed of yourself. And you should be mocked thoroughly for it. And I hope you do get mocked thoroughly for it, and I hope you don't get elected. I hope they put somebody else in the seat. I don't even care if it's a Democrat at this point in time, because you don't deserve it. He deserves it more than you, because you cheat. You cheating cheater that cheats. Lying liar that lies. And if you're going to have a bunch of problems and sepsis that's going to cause multiple strokes and cause all your memory losses in a very important time, then maybe you shouldn't be in the government in the first place. Just saying. Maybe you shouldn't be there. China uses DNA to track its people. Nada. I don't know why this is news, but it is news with the help of American expertise. Aha! Authorities called it a free health check. Tahir Imin had his doubts, though. This is over in Beijing. They drew blood from the 38-year-old Muslim, scanning his face, recording his voice, and took his fingerprints. They didn't bother to check his heart or kidneys, and they rebuffed his request to see the results. Quote, they said, "You don't have the right to ask about this. If you want to ask more, you can go to the police." Mr. Imin was one of millions of people caught up in the vast Chinese campaign of surveillance and oppression to give it teeth. The Chinese authorities are collecting DNA. They got unlikely corporate and academic help from the United States to do it. Huh. That's weird. Corporate and academic establishments helping the communist regime in China track their people to possibly push this in the U.S. later? China wants to make the country's Uyghurs, a predominantly Muslim ethnic group, more subservient to the Communist Party. It has detained up to 1 million people in what China calls the re-education camps, drawing the condemnation from human rights groups and a threat of sanctions from the Trump administration. It's funny. We talked about this. We talked about the re-education camps and everything that they've been doing. Collecting genetic material is a key part of China's campaign, according to the human rights group, for the Uyghurs. For the Uyghur activists. They say a comprehensive DNA database could be used to chase down any Uyghur who resists conforming to the campaign. They could hunt you down and kill you a lot easier. The forces of the United States, police forces in the United States and elsewhere, use genetic material from family members to find suspects to solve crimes. This has already happened in the U.S. Yes, Chinese officials who are building a broad nationwide database of DNA samples have cited the crime-fighting benefits of China's own genetic studies. To bolster their DNA compatibility, scientists affiliated with China's police used equipment made by Thermo Fisher, a Massachusetts company, for comparison to the Uyghur DNA. They also relied on a genetic material from people around the world that was provided by Kenneth Kidd, a prominent Yale University geneticist. Yale University geneticist and a Massachusetts company. On Wednesday, the Thermo Fisher said that it would no longer sell its equipment to Xinjiang, the part of China where the campaign to track the Uyghurs is most taking place. The company said separately in an earlier statement that the New York Times that it was working with American officials to figure out how the technology was being used. You don't ask it if you sell it. You don't ask it if you sell it. You sell a product, you don't ask. That's the point of that's the point of some businesses, especially if you're unethical. You just sell it and you don't care how it's going to be used. See, Dr. Kidd said that he had been unaware of how his material and know-how were being used. He said that he believed that Chinese scientists were acting within scientific norms that required informed consent by DNA donors. Duh! It does not. It is China, you morons. China doesn't get informed consent from anybody. You can't even walk across their borders with a Bible in your hands. They won't let me go across there with the app on my phone. I'm very sorry, Megan. I didn't know that that's who you worked for. Crap, I shouldn't have said your name. I'm sorry. But if you're going to do it, own up to it. Yeah, we sold it to them. We had no idea what they were using it for. We didn't care. We didn't ask. It wasn't a thing. It's the Chinese government. Everybody has money. If you said it like that, if you did it like that, okay, I get it. I get it. You're not thinking about the future and how it's going to be affected by these people. But at the same point in time, if you're not thinking about how these people are going to use it and what they could use it for, then why would you have the technology in that place? See, Erica knows. She had to remove the Bible app from her phone at the airport as well. You can't get into China if you have certain things happening, if you have certain points in your life. If you are a Christian, they won't let you in with your Bible. They won't let you in with your information. And yeah, it's true. Big companies, they don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care what's going on. They want to sell you the product. They want to make the money. And they don't care either way how it's going to work out in the end. They just want the money up front. It's a very short-term process and thought. Maybe over time. Maybe over time they think about it. Maybe over time they get to the point and they're like, we need to actually grow a conscience when it comes to the information and the usage of technology that we have. And sometimes they get caught like this. And once they get caught, they have to put on brave faces. Because if they don't put on a brave face and say, well, we're not doing that. We didn't know anything about that. How would we know anything about that? That's not what we're doing. We would never do such things. That's terrible. China is terrible. I can't believe they've used our technology like that. If we'd have known, if we could have only asked them questions, you could have. But they wouldn't have answered you anyway. Probably wouldn't have told you the truth. Why would they want to tell you the truth? Why would they want to tell you that they're tracking certain groups of people in their country? That they're going through and eliminating and re-educating groups and cultures in their own country to take them out and make them conform. You want to talk about America and its problem with racism? What about China? Forcing everyone in these family groups and cultures to go to re-education camps to learn how to step inside the Communist Party and only work inside the Communist Party. To understand that they have to conform or die, just like some other people's religions. Yes, Nicole, I am pretty sure there is a travel ban on the DOA show yoga pants. I don't even think you can send them into China. They are so patriotic of America. It is horrible. It is terrible. But it is going to be what it is going to be. Erica, I don't. Wait, well, hold on, Jeremy. I wonder if they would let you through the yoga pants. No. Yeah, Erica is bound to buy a pair. She is bound to buy a pair as long as Dylan wears a pair. Dylan has to wear a pair of them, and I'm in the process of getting those for him. We have to make sure the size fits first. I don't want him to, like, split the pants. That would be terrible. But it's going to be good. Oh, it's going to be so good. Oh, it's going to make you sick to your stomach. And you know what? You should go get Love My Tummy. You should go to lovemytummy.com/mojo right now. Use the promo code Mojo to get Atrantil to make sure that you don't hurl and you don't feel sick to your stomach, because this will cause massive bloating. The sight of Dylan in yoga pants. lovemytummy.com/mojo, promo code Mojo. You can get Atrantil. Atrantil is the world's first ever over-the-counter proven solution for bloating and other GI issues. It's developed by board-certified gastroenterologist Ken Brown, who is a butt man, I might add. 100% natural polyphenols designed to address bloating problems where they begin and not just treat your symptoms. It's not a probiotic or an antibiotic. It is there to give the polyphenols that is desired by your body to regulate your gut in the methane production and then function as a postbiotic after the fact to help regulate your overall health. Your health starts in the gut. So why not make sure and take control of how your health affects you? lovemytummy.com/mojo. Use the promo code Mojo. You get 3 months for only $99. Normally, they're $39.95 a pop. That's a $20 savings right off the bat. Go check them out, lovemytummy.com/mojo, promo code Mojo. We could give them to Izzo. He won't even... we can give the yoga pants to Izzo. You won't even need to have to tuck them. Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. We need to tweet that out. That'd be amazing. Very well done, Erica. Very well done. So we were talking earlier in the on the Mojos when I was over on the Match show about a supposedly extinct field mouse over in one of the islands near Australia, and apparently that one field mouse has died from climate change. Well, there was another animal-ish thing that died, supposedly, went extinct because of climate change and massive pollution and pesticides. The world's largest bee, once presumed extinct, filmed alive in the wild. Wallace's giant bee disappeared for more than a century. Now it's back and already being sold online by at least one collector. The world's largest bee may also be the planet's most elusive. First discovered in 1859 by a prominent scientist, Alfred Russel Wallace. Nobody could locate it again, and it was presumed extinct. But the Wallace giant bee, the Megachile Pluto, was not gone. In 1981, an entomologist named Adam Messer searched and found it in 3 islands in Indonesia. Crazy how these, like, individual, one-off type of animals and insects are off on these random little islands where nobody goes to. It's crazy. It's like go to an island that nobody visits. You might find something nobody else has seen before. And then, so he went there on those 3 islands in the archipelago, and he collected a specimen of the bug in 1984. Now, for the first time, it has been photographed and filmed alive by a team including nature photographer Clay Bolt. Meanwhile, in the last year, 2 specimens of the insect have been sold on eBay. eBay still around? For thousands of dollars, raising fears about its continued survival. You know, that's the funny thing. That's exactly right there, Jaina. Nature finds a way. If the animal is meant to survive, nature finds a way. Just like that field mouse that was supposedly gone from Australian islands in the area, more than likely, it just moved. Or you just can't find it because you're not actually looking. Maybe it has dwindled a bit. Maybe the food supply is not there. Maybe it's just not in the same area of the island. But whatever the case, whatever the circumstance, it's not that it's dead because you can't find it. It might just be you can't find it because you're blind. or it's really good at hiding. Field mouse, island, jungle mouse. It's a jungle mouse. It's an island jungle mouse, Nicole. It's an island jungle mouse. It just looks like a field mouse. It looks like a really big field mouse. That's why I'm saying it. It just makes more sense that way. So a bee is back again. And it's okay. Nature will find a way about what's going on. See, velociraptors are prevalent, ain't no complaining velociraptors aren't as prevalent as bunnies. That's true. Nobody is complaining that velociraptors aren't as prevalent as bunnies. But then again, who wouldn't like to have a pet velociraptor? Have you not seen the video of the pet velociraptor being a dick? Knocking over crap out? You got to go look it up. Go look it up. Pet velociraptor. My pet velociraptor is a dick. It's a play on, cats knocking stuff off of counters. It's hilarious. Go find it. You'll love it. Scientists aren't sure what's happening at Yellowstone National Park. Then why is this news? Because something odd is happening in Yellowstone National Park. Geysers have been erupting more often. Not only have they been erupting more often, but last year, one of the slumbering geysers, dubbed the Ear Spring, vomited up 80 years worth of trash that people have thrown into it since the last time it blew in 1957. So when it blew the heights of 29 feet in September, the National Park's officers spent days collecting old coins, beer cans, and even a 1930s baby doll from its surroundings. That was a big hole. Just saying. At approximately 8-foot diameter around and surrounding the surrounding ground is breathing, rising and falling about 6 inches every 10 minutes. You could literally stand on it and do this number every 10 minutes. It's fun. While the eruption offered up an interesting time capsule, it also represented what researchers are calling an unusual upturn in geyser activity. Yeah, so there's crazy geyser activity. There's crazy shifts going on in the continental plates. There's random earthquakes all over the world. You have the ice, the ice shifting from the Arctic to the Antarctic. By that I mean the ice is melting in the Arctic, but there's more than twice the amount of ice growing in the Antarctic as the ice in the Arctic is melting. So it's actually stabilizing in a sense. It's the same. It's fine. It's not a big issue. So you have all those things. You have random volcanoes that have been dormant forever now having rumbles and things like that. You have these geysers going to this place. It seems to me that there is a shift underneath our feet. There's a shift happening, a physical shift in our landscape. That's right, Nicole. It is just different activity. We don't have records up to 1,000 years prior to now. That is true. We don't have records. And yeah, that's where I was going exactly, Jeremy. There's polar shift. It's demagnetization. We have a weak ionosphere, a weak ionosphere. Things are happening around our lands, and people don't understand how to connect them all. And it's okay. You don't have to know how to connect them all, but you don't need to make it a big deal. It's like, okay, this one geyser who's very erratic suddenly became very regular and started shooting out once a week. All right, that's different. It has enough pressure buildup to do that. This other geyser over here, the surrounding area up to like an 8-foot diameter, is rising and falling because of all the pressure underneath. That's different. That's crazy. You have these shifts. You have earthquakes, seismic activity on the East Coast more so than you did 10 years ago. It's happening, guys. It's fine. It's a normal process of our Earth. Don't freak out. You're not going to die yet. At least not from these things. And it's definitely not global warming, guys. Can we please get off that train? Man, this hour flew by fast. Okay. That's it for tonight, guys. As always, Good night, Doc Thompson. We know where you are. Now, you go home.